Hello, everybody. Hi, Greg D'Amico here, and ready to get back to you guys with answering some questions, giving you some update and feedback on my world, and a little bit of sharing on what's going on with a new thought that I have this time around. So, again, I'm Greg D'Amico. I have a software company called Efficience, and we do a lot of custom development in the area of mobile apps, e-commerce applications, SaaS applications, software as a service. So we build those type of things for clients that need them, want them for their respective business. So whether it's e-commerce, like if you're thinking Amazon, we build for smaller shops, we build their own e-commerce platform, or any of the mobile apps you use. If you have a mobile app that is that you're using on your phone, a business may want a mobile app to connect with their clients or be able to buy and sell their merchandise through their mobile app, or to maybe like look at inventory for their salespeople. So just different things like that that we have built over time, and also have some of my own products that I've built and put out there in the SaaS space. So with that, previously I also have run an investment firm. I started a mutual fund, or actually started in financial planning, evolved to money management, and then went to creating a mutual fund back in '95. And I'll talk a little bit about that based on one of the questions that I get getting asked today. So what I wanted to, at previous times, I picked a topic, my own, that I have experience with that I would like to share with people, and then I usually jump into the questions. So again, I would like to talk about the world. I touched on this before, but I want to dig into it a little bit deeper because I think it's so vital and important to everybody out there who are trying to push through as business people that have a passion, trying to represent something out there in the world and get it to the marketplace, get people to find it and like it and want to buy it. And in doing so, it's challenging. So a lot of times we look at the world in a couple ways. We look at the world from a scarcity perspective, where there's not enough. It's limited. Don't have enough money, don't have enough time, don't have enough of the many of the things out there. I don't have enough freedom. I don't have enough resources. I don't have enough connections. I don't, just whatever it may be. It's a scarcity. Everything's limited. And with that, you attract, and you put that out there, you attract the same thing. On the other side of the equation is abundance, having abundance mentality, that there's plenty of abundance to go around. Love, that there's plenty of love, there's plenty of money out there, there's lots of time to do the things you want to do. And when you think about abundance and that mindset, it puts you into a world of attracting that and putting that frequency out there, that vibrating at this level as opposed to this level. You can look at it two different levels like that, which really is relative, but it's not. It's just saying that what you put out is what you're going to get back. You've heard that before, right? You've heard that, what I sow, what I reap, and so on and so forth. What you put out in the form of your vibration is very key. And in talking about that, if you have if you are having thoughts that you go around thinking that I've got plenty of this, I've got a lot of money, I've got lots of resources, even when you don't have money, if you're thinking about abundance and being abundant and grateful in the sense of things that you do have, you will open up to a vibration that allows you to get more of what you want. A lot of people are seeking money. Money is just a form, it's just a piece of paper, or it's in a bank statement and so forth. And it's really not something that materially that we're after what it buys for us. And if we also look at money in the form of creating value, when you put out value or you create value in the world, money is a return for that value. It's just a mechanism of transaction. And I look at that a lot in my life, as far as like, what can I, when I'm working my businesses, am I putting out something of value that somebody's really going to want? Is the marketplace really going to want this? And a lot of times we look at the world in a narrow way, and we realize that it's not what we think it is, but we end up finding out that ultimately it's not. And that's happened to me quite a few times. So realizing that creating value is the ultimate goal that we're trying to accomplish here, and when we create value in return for that, we will be rewarded with many dollars. So a little bit more refinement about this abundance and scarcity mindset. How do I have? If you're thinking, well, I have a scarcity mindset. I grew up that way. I grew up poor, like I did. Didn't have a lot of money. Always saw the people are the ones that were, the lucky ones or the spoiled ones and so forth. And in that sense, I walked around like I don't have enough. I don't have enough of this and that and the other. And it took a long time to break through that poverty consciousness in ways that I got better at, but still tended to creep back into my life. And it wasn't until I got a particular coach that helped me with this. And, I've heard it before. You all probably heard it before about the different levels of thinking, but also the being grateful. Okay, so if you really want to change your frequency and you want to have a higher level of vibration that's going to attract more things into your life, all things actually, from something as non-material as love to the material things in life, like a new house or new car or a better vacation and some step up in format of where you are, to so many things that you can look at that way. But when I realized that being grateful and having a gratitude mindset would allow me to open up to a higher level of vibration, and I started practicing this, and I started journaling. Something that was very difficult for me. Growing up as a dyslexic, I did not have the desire or abilities to write down my thoughts. It was always a struggle. I had terrible vocabulary, terrible speller. Finding the words that I wanted to use was always difficult. And with that, putting something down on paper was always had a resistance to it. And so when I started finally journaling and looking at my day and what I could be thankful for, it opened up and changed a lot of things for me. And that was my experience. And actually, I went out and bought a book called One Line at a Time, One Line a Day, and it has the ability that you can put. So if you can see here, here's my journaling. Okay, some days I've missed. And this is actually can be done where it's like 5 lines per day. You can use that, or you can use the whole page as a day, which I do. And then I just journal. And I found out that by doing so, I was opening up my world to a better flow, a better opportunity, and a better way to live life and not have to struggle and push so hard. So my coach calls that, instead of doing it by me where I've got to go out and do everything, it's through me where the universe flows more and you open up to a more of a being at a level where things come to you without as much struggle. So I wanted to share that with everyone today so that they could be looking at this and thinking about this in the format of how I open up my life to make it a little easier and to vibrate at a higher level. So I'm leaving the door open to more things, greater things, higher, whatever you're aspiring to. So let's jump into a few questions here. Okay, first question is by Lindsay Grifka, and Lindsay asks, should I buy an email list or continue to research and create one on my own? Business description and background. I have been creating an email list of smoke shops, both online and brick and mortar, on my own and with the help of my sister. It is a slow process, but by doing it this way, I ensure that the companies I reach out to carry other brands rather than just my own. I would like to use the email list to send cold emails to see if the brand is interested in carrying my products. Thank you, Lindsay. Elevator pitch. At Bling Blunts, we break stereotypes and promote self-expression and confidence by offering innovative and chic personal storage containers that are high fashion, functional, and discreet, so our @CanAFam can enjoy themselves to be the fullest without critique or judgment. Try our small, resistant, airtight, childproof, and reusable containers today. So, Lindsay, and looking at your situation, there's a few different things that you could consider. One is like, have you called out to the respective shops and actually talked to some of them? So there could be different forms of shops as you're building out your list. You want to always, we in everything we do, all businesses want to look at targeting and going after that respective avatar that is the most desired, most in line, most relative to what you are providing to the world. And when you define your avatar that way, and you can zero in, then you can find the places of where to go to find these people, the types of particular businesses, and the type of different types of well, you're looking at the businesses in that way, and you look at those things in that world. You're trying to zero in on those guys. You're trying to find out which ones that are of the type that you want to dig into. So when you call these people, if you start out with phone calling, a list of calling, I would make sure that these respective shops provide the opportunity to sell other people's products and what they are carrying now. Are they carrying something like yours? If they are carrying something like yours, there's probably actually a better opportunity for you to have yours in there too as a differentiator and so on and so forth, or a unique type. Especially if they're finding that, asking the questions, maybe are other products selling in that arena. It would be great market research from your standpoint, not just, the idea of you're building a list, but to make sure your list is as specific as possible would be doing this market research of calling these people and talking to them and getting more idea of what you're trying to accomplish. And like I just said a minute ago, creating value. What is it that these shops are providing? What info are they getting from their customers that's going to help you to make sure you're putting out and targeting the right people and creating the most value in realm of what you're selling? Or what little nuances can you be changing within the fashion, the functionality, and so forth that you talked about that would be appropriate for selling your products to the marketplace. So another thing that you can do is to take a similar list or take a list of emails that you find. Once you do this calling and you find them, you find out the right ones, the right shops, you can go in and build a lookalike audience within Facebook. Facebook marketing allows you to go in and put a list of emails, and say you put in 20, 40, 50 different emails. You can create a lookalike audience of those same type of people and be able to reach out to them through Facebook marketing. That would be one way to build on the list and not do so with as much time and effort on your part, okay, and your sisters too. So another option would be that in this world of trying to grow businesses and so forth, in the modern day technology world that we live in and the global world that we live in, is to consider some type of VA, virtual assistant. With that, having somebody in the Philippines or in India or somewhere, even South America, that would be able to do work for you at a relatively low cost. Some of these places are $7, $8 an hour, up to $10, $12 an hour. And in that regard, you can get somebody to do a lot of work for you and keep you moving forward with the tasks that are not as productive for you to do, and meet somebody else's strengths, where your strengths may be out talking to clients, doing the accounting, or whatever your strength is. It would be to do those things in your business that you're best at. So those are a couple ideas relative to that, and seeing if hopefully they can help. Email me, please, if you have any other thoughts. Be happy to dig in a little bit more. Next question comes from Tim Schiffer. And Tim asks, what are your thoughts on opening a physical retail location in this environment when the trend is away from that? Business description: I own and operate an e-commerce outdoor retail store focusing on hiking, camping, and backpacking. We've been around 2.5 years and are experiencing steady but not yet explosive growth. Brick and mortar has been a desire of mine since the business started and was in our 3 to 5 year business plan. Elevator pitch. People are disconnected from the outdoors. They're inside all day under bad fluorescent light bulbs, staring at a screen that's giving off blue light. We show people how to live a better, more complete life by getting them into the outdoors. Well, interesting on what you do. I'm excited about it and find that it's a big need. I would see it as a big need. So this is an interesting question because you are, like you know, basically know the answers to this question yourself, but when you put it out somewhere else, you can get some good, that feedback of sharing and opening up your ideas will help you. So I'll ask you a few questions like, what would be the reasons why you want to do it? Okay. If you look out there in the world, you see that a lot of retail places are struggling, but the e-commerce line is opening up to great things for people. A great opportunity to sell products at a lot less expenses that are associated with having a retail space, right? So you got to look at where you are. You said you were growing, but not explosive growth. So where are you on a profitability standpoint? I would see this for me, I have had retail places. I had office space, okay? And it wasn't like a retail where people walked in off the front, off the street, and they did business with me. It was more like, the customer services like investment management, software development. I did have a 1-800-GOT-JUNK franchise for a while, which still wasn't office front, but we'd have the trucks positioned in places so people could see them, trying to get more exposure and so on. So with that, having the cost of an office, the insurance, the phone, inventory, people there, so on and so forth, it just adds up to a lot, okay? And if your business is warning that, then by all means do it. But why do you want a storefront? What is it? What is that? And to me, it's like, the idea of having storefronts is pretty cool, right? People can see your place and come into your place. So I would look at this pretty strategically and say, what is my reason that storefront is going to benefit me as opposed to how I'm selling now? Will I be able to sell in greater quantities? Will I be able to get the products out there at a lower cost because the products I sell, when you ship them through whatever mechanism, adds so much more cost that it reduces down the profitability. If I could sell them at storefront, people walk in and buy it and take it out, it's going to save me a lot of money. Maybe like in the idea of canoes and so forth that are big and long and would it be expensive to ship, or kayaks or something like that. And so maybe it's better to have a storefront if you're having a strategic reason for that. So I'm just giving you a couple examples. There's a lot of things, there'll be a lot of potential strategic reasons, but examining those and looking at them for the opportunity for you to go that route is a big consideration. And I'd also ask you, like, to take a look at Amazon. How long was Amazon in business before they put up a storefront? So, I mean, it's my guess from what I remember reading, Amazon started around 97 or something like that. And it wasn't until like 5 years ago that I remember them having any storefronts, and they were very limited in few cities like New York City and probably Seattle or San Francisco and things like that. But for the most part, they don't do storefront. They do e-commerce online, and they've made massive amounts of money doing it. And so it was till then that they got really big and very profitable and billions of dollars of activity that they decided to open up storefronts. So I would think about it from that standpoint, from somebody like them and modeling them. Why are they so successful? Why are they so significant in their market brand and presence? Is because they did a lot of smart things, and opening up storefronts early may have been taken them a different direction than they have grown to be a great company and a great stock and a lot of other things. So definitely looking at that. Let's see what else do they have on here. Direction. Yeah, so most retailers are trying to go your direction. Okay, most retailers are frustrated with the cost of space, with the other aspects of it, with the risk of having a business and a storefront. There's just so many other things. You can get robbed. You can get it could burn down. I mean, it's just like a lot of things out there in the world that could make this more challenging. And so, what are the reasons that you would do it that would be very advantageous? Would you be at a spot at a park that people would be wanting to use this and rent or buy these activities? Now, that's where something I can see having a location is going to be much more attractive, and where you're doing other things that are creating revenue by then just selling. And that would be like the rental space. Okay, so rental space would definitely make something where you would have to have a presence. People could pick up the particular pieces of material and a product that you would provide them and selling them. Like if you were renting kayaks or renting canoes or renting paddle boards or something that's going to be in that environment, it would be necessary to have a retail location. So thinking of all of it in that way is important. Definitely looking at the cost. Have you done an analysis where you looked at what the actual square footage of a space that you would need is in your area and what it would look like from calling an insurance person, getting the insurance cost, getting the time frame of the lease, what would happen if the sales didn't happen, how could you get out of the lease? So just different factors. Adding those in, adding it up. What would be your hours? How many people would be in the store? Would it be you? Would you need other people? What would be the cost of having those people there, and so on and so forth? That would make for this analysis and decision of having that storefront. But you say it was in your business plan for 3 to 5 years. I would look at that and say, okay, why is it there in my business plan? Is there a rationale for it? Is this way that we're going to grow more efficiently than we already are growing? And look at those, take a serious look at those questions and see what kind of answers you get from them once you get more data. Okay, next question. Next question is from AkaShawnThomas. You guys know him. Question, without a team to delegate to and without a budget to hire a full team, how do you get things done when you first started your company and it was just you? Background. I hear many experienced entrepreneurs talk about delegating and only doing the things that they are great at, and unfortunately, it's only me. And I'm just starting, so I don't have a team nor the money to hire a full team. I know I can't be alone in trying to understand how to get everything done on a limited budget, and it only being me. How do you do it when you were first starting? Is it a mindset? Or where did you go to learn everything to get everything done? Looking for your story. Thanks so much. Okay. Well, this takes me back a while. So I look at, as I said earlier, I had an investment. I got into investments out of while I was in college. Actually, I started selling insurance and doing financial planning with Mass Mutual, and they were getting into that financial planning side of things when I was first exploring my career options. And I got an internship with them as I was finishing my finance and accounting degree, and with that, I was very intrigued with helping people with financial stuff. I was always good at things like that and wanted to grow that world. So I got in that space. I did financial planning and I grew a customer base. Going to see people at the University of Tennessee, for example, where professors and doctors, and helping them with their retirement planning. And I built on that we started managing money. And that world of growth and getting to that point, I and my partner, Robert, who we worked to grow this together, did everything in the beginning. Okay, we didn't have a lot of capital. Okay, so unless you can go out and raise money or you got a lot of credit card opportunity to build on to pay people to do things. Sometimes you just got to do it yourself. And this is a longer, harder road, but we used a grassroots approach to grow things. And I was the one typing in names into a computer to build a mailing list. I was the one folding up the papers and stuffing them in the envelopes and sticking the labels on them and licking those stamps and licking those envelopes and putting them out in the mail, and then making phone calls to get people to look at our work that we did, the service we provide, and then the investments that we were offering as time went on. And with that, it was a lot of the things that weren't my strengths and I shouldn't be doing. I should have been paying somebody else to do them. But in the beginning, I had to. That was just the way it was. Now, in regard to that, there are things that you can do, like what I was talking about before. We'd be looking at a virtual assistant to help with some things now. The world's different than it was back then when I was doing this type of work. I would be looking at other options and activities. You can outsource work now in a very cost-effective way to you a minimal amount of something, like I need you to find me a mailing list, or I need you to put together a grouping of emails, or I need to get a Facebook campaign out there. You can do things in a small niche type spaces now, a lot more so than you could way back then. So getting started out, how did I do it? I did it on a grassroots approach. I started a mutual fund in 1995, and it was called IPS Millennium Fund. And with that, we grassrooted and just went to meet our existing clients to get them and meet new people. And it was a no-load fund, so we weren't making money to sell the fund or show it to people. We were making money from the assets that came in off the management fees of actually managing it. And that was a very grassroots, that was very go out and seek existing clients and tell them about the fund, and that the fact that they had some experience with us, so they had some confidence and trust in us, allowed them to put a little bit of money in. And as the fund kept doing well and better and better and better, it got to the point where after three years down the road, we had about $12 million in a fund, which is normally the amount. You don't start a fund unless you have 15 to $20 million. But the first year we had $2 million in, second year we had like $5 million in, and the third year we got it to about $12 million. And then it took off from there because our numbers came out. We were one of the best growth income funds in the country, and things skyrocketed, exponential growth. It was exciting. But in the beginning, we did it. I did it. I did what was necessary, and I put in extra time, put in extra effort to get it going. And like I was saying earlier, I dealt with that poverty consciousness, okay, or the scarcity mindset, that there wasn't enough money, so I had to do it. And I'm not saying that's the best way, but sometimes it has to be the way that you are in the current situation you are in. It would have been better if I was like, hey, we're going to grow this thing and we're going to put a bunch of money into it and we're going to go borrow money and we're going to pay people to help us and we're going to start rocking it out and scaling it and taking off. Well, didn't know that was going to happen, so I didn't want to spend that money until I had more confidence in what I was doing was actually going to be the case. So never really had to borrow money because the fund just kept growing, and the profitability and the dollars that was spinning off created revenue for us to start advertising, more advertising campaigns. I had a TV campaign going for a while, and things got really good. We ended up growing to $1 billion in assets, and that was starting out from 2 million to going to $1 billion. So that gives you a little bit of an indicator that you just got to do the work you can and put it in before things can kick in for you. That's kind of what has to happen. I do believe in playing to your strengths, as Sean was talking about in that question. A lot of people say that have reached success or some level of success, or has the experience out there in the business world, that you have to have, it's most efficient to play to your strengths. What are you really good at? When Robert, my partner, and we had to do a lot of the work, I wrote the prospectus and statement of additional information, or the filings that you have to file with the Securities and Exchange Commission to launch a fund. I would go out and model after other funds and pick out things from them and put it together. But when I wasn't good at that, and I got it down enough that Robert, who was a brilliant writer, came back, and he was a professor type, very studious, very research oriented, very organized with his thinking and thoughts. He would be able to do the work. So I played his strength that way. I was the one that was more out there talking to people, building relationships, and that was more of my strength. And so we played to each other's strengths to help each other grow a successful business. So I am of that mindset that growing a business is most attractive when you are playing to your strengths, when you are doing the things that you're good at, and you pay other people to do things that they are really good at that help you accomplish and get to your goals. So in the sense though, how do you do it? You've got to really be creative and explore. Now you have Google. Okay, didn't have a Google back then. Didn't well, if I want to find somebody that can help me with mailing, or I want to find somebody to help me with phone calls, or if I want to find somebody that can help me with building my avatar for my target base. You can Google all that now, and you can find people, and you can research it, and you can get individual consultants that can help at much more nominal fees than you would find before, where you'd have to go to firms and you would pay big firm prices, and that was just kind of out of the ballpark for a lot of startup firms. So there's a lot of ways to explore this, but today we have the resources and we have the abilities that we haven't had in since the beginning of time, that make it that much easier to start a business, to engage and find the people that you want to sell to engage and find the people that you need to work with, and to find the people that you need to employ. And when you, in this world that we're living in, it makes being an entrepreneur easier. It allows for us to connect to the right people and to explore things in a way that is just more positive. So with that, I will say that do what you can to play to your strengths when you can. When you can't, to dig in and do what you have to do, and just get it going so you can get to the next level where you can play to that. As I grew that fund out and we got to each next phase, I wasn't getting paid in the beginning. I'm doing all this work, I'm not getting paid. We were surviving off of the other financial planning and base work that we had built up, and it was just an evolution. I didn't start a fund that went to $1 billion. We're able to get it going with very little cost because I just started day one and made that happen. I had a history of building a clientele up through the financial planning work that I did, and then I had a history of building a money management pool of clients where we managed like 100,000 plus of their money, 100,000, 500,000, $1 million, and we actually needed $100,000 of seed money to put in the fund when we started it. Didn't have it. Scarcity, poverty conscious, didn't have it. My partner didn't have it. And what do? Well, the regulations say that you could get your clients to put up that 100,000 if you didn't have the money to start it yourself, but it had to be started with $100,000. So we got like 6 of our clients to divvy up somewhere, in $10,000 to $20,000 each, and we seeded the fund with $100,000+ and got it going. So didn't have that resource at that time, but figured out how to work to get other people. And because we had some history, we may not have been able to go out and get clients to put up $100,000 for us unless we had a history of doing other things with them, of managing other money for them that allowed it. So it was a stepping stone process to get where we were going, and we kept pushing until things happened. So I would continue to explore and push, have that tenacity and perseverance to get to the next level, and do what you can until you have the opportunity to play to your strengths. Because when you do, your world will be in flow, and you will get so much more done. And when the people around you are getting their things done because you're paying them to do so, that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay, so with that, I am going to sign off and say that AO is powerful and beneficial. As I always close up here to say that a network of people is super, super beneficial. I didn't have it when I was in the younger space. I just truly wish I had something like this that would help me with putting out these questions, helping me to minimize some of the waste, some of the bad decisions, some of the bad situations I got myself into. If I had other people to bounce other ideas off of. So AO is powerful. I'm an EO, Entrepreneurs Organization. That's a global network of entrepreneurs that learn and grow together, and it's been one of the best decisions of my life to be a part of that. I've been in since '99 and have loved every bit of it, and learned and grown exponentially compared to what I would have done if I had not joined that organization. So take all you can to benefit from your network of mentors, your network of peers, and you're all pushing to help each other and utilize that to your benefit. So with that, till next time, next month, I'll see you guys again. Look forward to your questions and helping in any way I can. All the best.